Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Thriving LDS Singles Podcast. And today we have Kay, me, and Kim here, and we're interviewing Eileen Hardy. And Eileen is a person who is living her very best life. She is certainly thriving. And if you want to follow some of what she does, she has a blog called Living Our Bucket List. All right, what's the next adventure?
The next, I got two things. I always have like my next couple of things planned. And my next thing is going to be the Camino de Santiago. I was going to go on a mission at the beginning of this year, but I have braces on my teeth and you can't go anywhere with braces. You have to stay home with the orthodontist. So that that's being pushed down the road. So then I got to go with my other plan. And so the Camino in March on the 25th, this gal that Kim probably knows, her name's Carolyn, and I are going to fly to Paris and catch a train to Saint-Jean-de-Pied or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce all these towns. And that's where the French way begins. And it's basically 500 miles to Santiago de Compostela, which is a cathedral that's well known in the Catholic world, the Catholic European world for sure. There are pilgrimages from different places in Europe that all converge on that cathedral, and it's where St. James the Apostle is buried. And this is a pilgrimage, and so people go on it with people that have maybe gone through something, go on it to try and heal their brain. I'm not saying I need that necessarily, but maybe I do. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I just had Carolyn and another friend over to watch The Way, this Martin Sheen, Amelia Estevez movie about the way, and Martin Sheen actually never really walked the whole, but it's a really good movie, and we're all like over crying and everything. But it just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. It's a simple thing, and we're gonna stay along. There's this whole network of accommodations along the way, Kay. You could pay and stay in inns. A gal I know, also single LDS, did the Camino last year. And she did a thing where she stayed in she never stayed in hostels. Now, Carolyn and I, we're hostel girls. We're staying in hostels. That's our choice. And most of the hostels supposedly serve a dinner. Some of them don't. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. But this thing, we have it mapped out the first half, but we know where the hostels are. We have a resource that shows us that. So if we get out there and it's too much distance a day, then we can back it off. If it's too little, we can go further. Just play it by ear.
And you take everything on your back. You'll have a backpack, or how do you?
Yeah, you know what? I actually was laying it out on my table to show Carolyn what I'm bringing. She's coming over because we want to start training with a backpack on. But when we were watching that show, I'd like to see something a little more current. That show was filmed back when people had Blackberries. So maybe 13 years ago or something. I don't know. And they all had real backpacks on their backs. And we were thinking something smaller. And yeah, you have to take your own sleeping bag, maybe your own mat. I'm thinking after watching that, bring your own mat. And then I need a ground cloth. And yeah, so I've got it all laid out right here.
Very cool.
As we went through it, if you're doing something with somebody like that, like Jim and I, the guy who did the Mount Everest base camp thing, I went over to his house. We just laid it all out. Everything, toothbrush, toothpaste, the whole bit. Oh, I need to bring that too. And I'm saying, so I laid it out just so I've got the ultralight gear thing down to a science. And this is her first adventure like this. But it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends did it last year. So yes, I know the trek. And
did she do the French way, or what did she do? Do you remember?
No, she did the Spanish one, I think.
Oh yeah. There's more than one Spanish one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she do just 100 kilometers, or did she do from?
She did the whole lot. She took, I think it was 2 months or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
she was.
Good girl.
Yeah.
I like friends like that.
Yeah.
I do.
No,
I like
it's so inspiring.
I like
and
to
she
meet
did
people that do big things.
Yeah, and she did it by herself. And she said that you're meeting people all the time. And of course, because you're walking, you're often walking the same route, and you're running into the same people.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, and so this, my friend, my adventure inspiration guy, he did this. He started doing it the year of COVID, and everybody got taken off the route, right? Because everything closed.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
He went back last year and he started from the same point and he finished it. And he said the same thing. He did it alone, but he does lots of adventures alone. He didn't have anybody to do things with either.
Wow.
But if you can find people, I did the Inca Trail with him and some of his friends. He just did Kilimanjaro, I think his third time with a young guy from his stake who's a missionary who before he went on his mission said, when I come back, I really want to do that with you. He says, if you really want to do it with me, let's put it on. And they made a plan and they just went. The guy
Yeah.
got back to his mission. They just hiked to Kilimanjaro.
You have to commit to it, huh?
He did the Camino by himself and he said the same thing. He met people, he'd run into the same people, he'd stay in the municipal hostel type places. They're called auberges or refugios. I can't remember, one of those two. He would stay with basically the same people every night and eat dinner with the same people. Yeah, which is what happened on The Way, the movie, by the way.
Huh. I'm for sure gonna look that movie up. Sounds like a fun one. The other thing that my takeaway when I was watching your blog and tracking you from the Florida up the East Coast was you have to know a lot about your bike. You had to put it together the day you got there. And if anything breaks, I don't like to bike too far away from any civilization in case I can't fix my flat or get my chain back on.
Yeah, I couldn't fix my flat at the airport. I had a major malfunction in Miami. But yeah, I know how to do a lot of things to a bike. And that's part of that very first trip I took. Bike shops, I don't know if they still do, but before COVID, bike shops had classes on how to maintain your bikes. And from a whole class about how to change a tire to more really complicated things, right? How to do something with your brakes or adjust your disc brakes or something which is pretty complicated.
Yeah.
And I went to those classes over and over again because I didn't want to get out riding my bike and have a malfunction.
Yeah.
I have had malfunctions, but I maintain my bike really well. It gets the best of care. I don't leave on a bike ride without everything being just pristine and new and fresh. And other people do. They'll show up and the brakes are bad or whatever. It's like chain's not clean and lubed. It's like, what the heck? You're counting on this bike to take you 3,000 or 4,000 miles and it's not going to work. You wouldn't do that to your car. Some people would.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you sure?
No, but you do. I educated myself big time. And I did things that my brother-in-law's a very serious road cyclist, racer kind of guy, and an endurance rider too. And I put tubeless tires on my bike, which was something new to him at the time. He said, I don't think you should do that. I don't think it's a good idea. It's not safe if you have a flat. What are you going to do? And you mean the nowhere and not have a tube? And he just was panicking over it. But then maybe a year or two later, he put them on his bike too, because I never got a flat tire, ever, never. On any of my rides have I ever had a flat tire. And all the guys I'm with are chained in their tubes, putting new tubes in all over the place.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I read up about it. I got some good
Awesome.
advice from some cycling people and
Another important lesson that the scripture
know.
teaches all the time. Prepare, be consistent.
exactly. Whatever you're going to do, you got to read up on it, read blogs or just read what other people have done. That's why I wanted to watch this movie. And now there's a couple more documentaries on there. Of course, I'm going to watch them just to see what people encounter and what you need. And
do your homework. So tell us, so that's the trip coming up in a few months.
Right.
And then you said you've got some other things planned as well.
I'm going to go on a mission. I might get my braces off next month, but maybe not. Like I usually go there and they say no. But if I get my braces off next month, then I can put my papers in and go on a mission. So I'm going to go on a mission to right now, because the choices change all the time for single sisters, Africa to Zimbabwe or Laog, Philippines, or Mountain Home Air Force Base outside of Boise. Or Los Angeles. 4 good choices.
So 3 very different choices. Tell us what is a mission for a single older sister? Tell us about that.
Yep.
Okay. Single sisters can go on missions. Single men cannot. Single men can be service missionaries. They can work at the distribution center. There are all kinds of things that they can do. Maybe there are jobs in the temple they can do also. I'm currently a service missionary in the Gilbert Temple. I work in that records office 1 day a week. people work at these genealogical centers as service missionaries that around the country. But they have missions for single females, member leader support, which senior couples do that also. Seniors don't do proselyting anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was only couples that did that.
Oh, it's
Go on.
not. You can get on the website and look. There's like really good
Okay.
opportunities, especially if you have a health background, because they really need health care background. Every mission, they want to have a nurse to help them with triage on the problems missionaries have apparently, and then also mental health people, because there's a lot of those problems now with these really young missionaries. And so there's always openings there are always missionary opportunities for sisters. And some of them are really cool. There was one in Croatia, Montenegro, some really cool countries in Europe. That'd be great. There was one in England a while back. It's gone now. They change because the things get filled up. But right now I'm pretty focused on the Zimbabwe, Philippines,
Very cool.
Mount Home Air Force Base.
How do you know if you can afford to go on a mission, or what's the?
They put a dollar
information?
amount on the website. They put a dollar amount.
Okay,
You know, it's
okay.
on the churchofjesuschrist.org under the service tab, under something like service, not under spread the gospel, under service. Okay. Then you can get down in there and there's a thing somewhere in there about senior missionary opportunities or something like that. It changes. They restructure the site all the time. And there's a place where you can go in and look at different opportunities, and they put up there how much they say it's going to cost. Now, Carolyn, my friend, who's going to do communion with me, how did I meet her? I met her at somebody's 4th of July party one time, and we're in this house with a bunch of dorky people. But there was Carolyn. So we struck up a conversation. And she's, so what do you do? And we're talking about our lives and everything. She says, I've been on 2 missions. I was like, holy cow, are you kidding me? She's younger than me. And that just inspired me. You know what I mean? Like my adventure friend. She'd been to Africa already, and I wanted to go on a mission to Africa. And so I was just like, we are friends. And she went on a MLS mission to Chicago. That's member leader support, doing whatever the mission president or the state president wants you to do to help support the saints there. And so she's like a role model for me that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's just what you can do is out there, and how much it costs a month is out there. She said things cost a lot more than what's published there. My sister, Carolyn, who's been on 2 or 3 missions, she says when she goes, it costs a lot less. So it just depends on how you manage your money.
Yeah, interesting.
You stay at the inn or do you stay at the hostel? The housing they have all figured out, so that's pretty fixed. But the prices vary. Like to go to the Philippines or to Africa is going to be only $1,200 or $1,300 a month, plus paying extra money for medical, maybe $300 and something for medicals, under 15. And the missions, they don't have anything under a year. I think they expect women to serve a year or more. It's every year. Most of us have things in lives, and so I'll go for a year.
I'm feeling like I might lose my podcast buddy, Kay.
Aren't we remote?
No, I did a 3-year service mission doing the Pathways program.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
How many hours a week was that?
it was 15, 20 hours a week or something like that.
That's a big commitment.
Yes,
That's
it was
a job.
Yeah, so I started off by teaching the Pathways program, and because at that stage you were teaching the Pathways and you were teaching the Institute. They keep changing the program. And so then they promoted me to zone leader, and so my job was to actually find other missionaries to do the Pathways program and to support the missionaries that were working, and then also to promote the program. And it worked I was traveling around in my motorhome, and so I would travel to the next city that had a chapel, and I would check with the bishop, and I would either sometimes in the meeting or sometimes in Relief Society, I would talk about the Pathways program and tell people. Lots of people didn't know that. They thought you had to do it in person, and it's now all on Zoom. Lots of the places I was visiting felt they couldn't do it because Australia, people don't realize Australia's as big as America, but we don't have the we don't have the population of America, but we also don't have the LDS population of America. They felt that opportunities weren't available, and they are.
Yeah, like the Pathways program is a really big thing in Africa. People
Yes,
have nothing. They have nothing.
that's
They
right. Brilliant for countries where education is low. And my first teaching was people in the Pacific Islands. So I was teaching Vanuatu, and I did some Papua New Guinea and Cook Islands and Marshall Islands and some of those places.
Marshall Islands and Vanuatu are both missionary opportunities that either were there recently and are gone now, or one of them might be there, Vanuatu and Marshall.
And yeah, a lot of these people, of course, I keep going to say kids, but of course it's open for any age group. And yeah, people didn't get the opportunity to go to even high school, let alone to further education.
Right.
And for the Pacific, so for anybody in the Pacific, the BYU Hawaii now accepts people who have graduated from Pathways into their programs.
Wow.
That's
They graduated from the preparatory part of Pathways?
Just the preparatory part.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then they can get, so they don't have to have done anything else. They just have to do that, and they get to go to Hawaii, which I'm like, ooh, go study at Hawaii.
There's a mission right now in Hawaii at the Polynesian Cultural Center for a senior sister. And that's just another one out there. There's really cool things, but that
too civilized for you. Yes.
Not right now at this age, but maybe when I'm older.
Yeah. You don't want to be that. You want a little more adventure. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
you still have a bucket list.
I do, but that Tibetan food really did my intestines in. It just really did a number on me. It made me think, I wonder if I could handle the food in Zimbabwe. Maybe they have their own form of weird spices, and I think I'm tough and could muscle through things, but maybe obviously I wasn't tough, was I? I didn't muscle through.
You'll have to go on eating adventures, see if we can find some places to eat.
I can do that in town.
Yeah.
You'll acclimatize in a year. You'll be right.
Yeah, by the time I'm done, the dysentery will pass. But I tell you, the most lasting effect of that was like maybe for 3 weeks after I got home, I couldn't eat anything and not feel sick. And I'm back in my environment.
Yeah.
But it's the bugs it's not the food specifically.
Had to get rid of the bugs.
You have a good point. Yeah, I think actually, to your point, what you bringing up the pathways, I hear from guys, oh, I'd like to go on a mission too, but there are service missionary things out there that the men can be doing. They don't have a list of things where they're going to travel to other countries like a woman can do, or within your own country, but there are service missions everywhere. And I think they might be published on that same site, but I'm not sure. There might be a tab. I see it sometimes, but I don't really go into it because
I think there's a special service missionary tab, or for your area. There's look in your area and then see what the service missions are.
Exactly, and then can be do that if they don't think if they think they're retired and they want things to do with their life, they can do that too. They can find a way.
And as you said, the temples are desperate for men, so they don't have to look very far.
They don't have enough men.
So coming on the church, it's like, how have you found being single in the church?
What do you mean?
Pluses and minuses. What are the
being
pluses and
single in
minuses?
the church?
Single in the church.
Within my family ward that I live in, I'm just another person, but it's up to me how lonely I am, right? Yeah. I could just stay home and binge watch TV, which I do some, and be sad or get involved. And so I always go to a ward and I look for the other single sisters. I don't care what their age is. They could be 23, they could be 83. And I'm going to go sit with them, the widows, whoever's alone, I'm going to go sit with them because it is sad being alone in church. And then we plan things. We go to lunch, or I have some ladies that come to my house and we play games. Are they single? One of them's single, the rest of them are married. But I just integrate into whatever ward I'm in. Obviously, my family of one is different from their happy marriages and things like that. But I go to the empty nesters group because for one thing, I don't want them to see this. Don't let them watch this podcast, but I feel like they could be a way out of this for me. If they know me, they may meet somebody that they think would be a good companion for me and set me up. If I just hang around with single people and don't hang around with the married people, the single people aren't going to hook me up. They don't have a connection or they wouldn't be there. It's true.
Yeah, there's an interesting
That's
take, Kim.
brutally honest there.
There are wonderful people in my ward. I have a wonderful ward and I go to all the activities and I get involved because that's who's going to, my network needs to be the people that are living the life I want to live, not this single thing. So I go through phases with activities. I'm trying to go, but it's really hard, especially, I don't know if it's the same way everywhere. It is the same everywhere. It might be better in Utah, but like the Nauvoo conference, when I went to that, there were like hundreds of women and maybe 40 men.
Yeah.
Okay. Hundreds of women and
Yeah.
40 men. And when I go to firesides and dances here in the Phoenix area, it's similar statistics. It's pretty hopeless. And so I choose not to let my brain go to that very often because that's really depressing.
Yeah.
And I choose just to let my brain be off on what I'm doing with my life. I just can't let myself get pulled down by the fact that the numbers are so bad. And like I ran into Kim at a fireside last Sunday.
Yep.
Or the week before.
Yeah.
And they're delightful women. Okay. They're wonderful women in the singles world. And I want to know them, but we're not going to be married. But we can enrich each other's lives.
Yeah.
I go to conferences. Nobody ever asked me to dance. I go to dances. Nobody asked me to dance. That's very negative and sad. It would make you feel like you're not worthy of, or I don't
Good
know.
enough.
I choose not to put myself in that situation very often.
Yeah.
Among women, like intelligent women that have things going on, I love being around those kind of people. I don't care if they're single or married.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do try and spend a good amount of time doing normal things with normal people because that's my only hope for getting out of this singleness. And I don't have great hope for getting out of it.
That's not what you're living your life for. You've got a bucket list and are finding.
I gotta go on. I gotta go on and live my life and live my best life. Is that what your blog is?
Thriving.
I have to, because otherwise I can't just sit around and wait and hope and wish. Because that's just not productive. And I don't see the online thing being any better. I try it and it's just, my hope is my friends or just to be happy being single. This may be, I was at a fireside a few weeks ago. I think it was a Christmas thing that they had in Queen Creek. And I looked ahead at the rows in front of me and the entire church was full of single women, the middle, the side sections, completely every packed in. And there's one guy every 2 rows. And if that's the world we're living in now, you got to find a way to make your life rewarding without counting on having a partner be part of it. You need to find a way to find good women to do things with, travel alone, find good women to travel with. You got to find a way to make your life be good. Otherwise, you're going to be really lonely.
Yeah, I agree.
Sounds like perfect advice. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I don't want to be lonely. I don't sit around and think about being lonely, but then I'm busy.
Yeah. Does sound like you're busy.
I make it that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You said you had some notes there. Is there something else you'd like to share with everybody?
No, I just thought you might ask me for numbers about things and I can't remember anything. Like, how long was that? How many miles? I don't know. Something, I don't know, 4,000 or something.
We didn't get that technical. We'll have to.
I can't remember because once I've done something, it's okay.
Because you just do each day, don't you? You just do a day and then you do the next
one day at a time. But my friend Amrit, my adventure inspiration guy, he would know all those numbers. And he'd know all the tips. Oh yeah, that was on day 13. Yeah. Then when you were, his brain has it all in there, but I don't remember any of it.
We encourage you to keep going with your blog because people want to travel and people want to know that people can do it. And so encourage you to keep writing in your blog so that you can inspire others to come and do it too.
Okay, teacher.
You are definitely an inspiration to me.
Yeah. See, you're an
love
inspiration to me too, Kim, because like when I saw that PhD thing, Kim got her,
Yeah.
her
My
PhD.
doctorate, yeah.
Okay. Dang.
I could do that.
I could do that. And first I'd have to get a master's degree, right? I don't have a master's degree, but the master's degree is on my bucket list.
There you go.
I just gotta.
Oh, so the master's is on your bucket list?
It is. I want my grandkids to get master's degrees. I want them to know that their grandma thought it was important. Yeah, but I just need to settle down and figure out what it is and be in one place at one time long enough to do it. But that is definitely on my list.
I think you should shoot for an online master's program.
Oh, definitely. Are you kidding me? Like Western
Then you don't have to
University.
settle down quite as much.
Yeah, but you do have to be in a situation where you can sit down and work on it. And
So true.
if I'm traveling, I'm not in that situation.
Yeah. Backpacking and doing a degree probably won't work.
No.
Yeah.
Or if you're staying in lodging that you're paying for by the night, that doesn't work either.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that inspires, because I've done because I know Kim did her doctorate, and I'm thinking, it'd take too long. But yeah, we could inspire a master's. I'm the same. I have to get the master's first. That was the goal.
You guys probably have online universities in Australia, but there's a university in Utah called Western International where you work at your own pace. And I don't know how much you're plugged in with other students. Apparently you are somewhere along the way. And so it's a different way of thinking about education. And I don't know if I'd go there or not.
But there are a lot
would you
more
do?
options. There are a lot more options.
A lot of
There's
options.
a lot of options.
It's very
So what would your master's be in?
I don't know. Something I can knock out and get a master's in.
We could both go to Hawaii and do it there.
We could check the block. We could both go work at the Polynesian Cultural Center and work on a master's.
Yeah, that's right. Sounds good.
Possibly being on a mission would be like having a day job and you could work on it at night. But yeah, I don't know.
That's how I did mine.
How long did it take?
So my master's took a couple of years, and I was working 60-hour weeks when I got my master's. But then for my doctorate, I was working full-time for the first year. And then the last 2 years, it took me 2.5 years to get my doctorate. But that was shorter amount of time because I go summer too. Once I'm going,
Right.
and I take the full amount of credits I can and every semester
Try and
and
get
focus on it. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that just to me, that's inspiring. That I actually put on a thing about, I have a video that's on YouTube. It's called Circumnavigating the US by Bicycle or something like that.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll put that on there too.
You'd have to look up the real link, but it doesn't have my last ride that connected the four sides of the country. But I put it together to show it to the young men and young women in our ward. And I didn't go to them with the idea that I want to turn them into some bicycle animal or hiking or anything like that. But just so they know that the bucket list is just, I told them, you need to have goals that are more than get married and go on a mission. You need to have other things in your life. And I said, if it's that Julia Child's movie, like a goal to do every recipe in Julia Child's cookbook, that's a cool goal. That'd be a great bucket. Is it to learn how to be a diesel mechanic or something, or to learn how to, there's so many things that could be a bucket list item for somebody. It doesn't have to be going out and doing some hard endurance feat. There are a lot of things. And I just think everybody should have things to work toward.
Yeah.
And I think like working toward a master's degree, that'd be pretty hot. Come on, Kate. I think going on a mission is pretty hot. I think what you do with the pathways, I hear about that. I think, wow, that's pretty cool. I should be doing something more for the church. That's a much bigger commitment than working in the temple 4 hours a week.
I don't knock that. I do that. I work in the temple office actually I worked overtime the other night. It's like good
overtime
pay.
Is it called overtime when you're
when it keeps going on and on?
Do you think God gives us time and a half for that?
I hope so. I was supposed to finish at 9 and it didn't finish till 10. It was like really late.
Yeah, because
the baptistry had been so busy and they
Exactly.
didn't bring us. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, because the baptistry is busy. That's the only reason for things to be coming in late at the temple. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
baptistry were really late and they had so many people because our temple services a very large area and it's school holidays at the moment. And
That'd be
so whole group
Busloads,
of
huh?
youth, busload of youth are coming down and they'll stay for 3 or 4 days and people will put them up and yes, so they did a big session and
Right. And even though the people that work in the baptistry they probably like a normal anywhere else in a community, if a bunch of people showed up, they'd be like, oh, we're busy, we're all booked. But they're like, no, we got room for all of you. We're so happy you're
Yeah,
here.
you don't
that's
turn
right.
them away. You
They
don't turn people
accommodate them.
away.
They don't turn anybody away. And
Yeah.
so then the people in the records department are like,
And then we're sitting in the office going, the baptistry hasn't returned yet. I actually went and looked and found, what are they doing? And they, no, we haven't finished yet. And he's like, okay.
yeah, but I go down there and I'm like, okay, well, what do you have right now? Because we can't wait till you're finished. Come on, give it right
Yeah,
now.
they did. We did eventually do that. But yeah, so working in the temple is a really good, like it's a needed service, whether you're in the endowment sessions or whether you're in the office, it's still all serving.
Yeah,
and so it's all important.
Yeah, and I see people online that do a lot of service in the community. I think, oh, that's like up there with the master's degree. That's something I need to wrap my head and body around and make that part of my life. And when I dial down all this overactivity stuff someday, I could be working in my community there are people that work with veterans organizations, all kinds of stuff. And I'm a veteran. Why am I not doing that?
Yeah.
I do think we need to like learn from each other and be better Christians, members of the church.
Yeah. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot of years and a lot to offer and need to be thinking that way.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a really cute dog and we volunteer. It's only once a fortnight for a few hours, but you go into nursing homes and they get to pat the dog.
Again? What's a fortnight?
Oh, every 2 weeks. Sorry.
Oh.
Just to translate all that stuff for us.
Yeah, sorry. I speak Australian sometimes. But yeah, there's lots of places where you can take your dog. And what I really want to do is go and do help with the reading schools. But my dog loves being patted by kids.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
But it took a year to get qualified. Like I had to go through courses and he had to go through courses and get approved and pass tests and the vet and everybody had to pass these. Yeah, but we did all that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I bet you don't have to go through that much in the US.
I don't know. So many amazing ideas. See, I'm already feeling what a slacker I am because I don't do near enough service work. So
but you're not a slacker because you just got a doctorate.
Bump that up.
Yeah, you just got your doctorate a week or two off before you start the next thing.
Slacker. But no, I seriously think though, like I said, I always have two things in my queue and I have thoughts about what my next thing's going to be too. But a
year-long mission's going to take up a bit of that.
Yeah, the mission's just trying to bring it back into balance. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my life just to be about just a party city. Not that it's party, but things need to be in better perspective. And I need to have more service and
more spiritual, better spiritual balance.
Yeah, but spiritual is not like just looking at the scriptures and learning about serving people, serving.
More service.
Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. And I think that bucket list where you're saying some education, some spiritual, some service, some travel, some pushing your body, some things that, I think that's a great list of how a bucket list could be made.
It's a great goal. Ask about it in a year or a couple of years. Hopefully, because I'm retired. I should spend my life more balanced than I have been. So hopefully I'll get around and make it be.
We really appreciated chatting with you today and learning about your bucket lists, and you've inspired us, hopefully us and everybody that listens, to start thinking about all the ways that we can really live our best life, live
Thanks. You guys have inspired me too. Seriously. I mean,
Good.
I'm taking notes like, oh, the Overland Trail and that pathways thing sounds cool.
That's awesome. That's our goal, is to inspire each other.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We want people to know that you can be single in the church. And yes, there is that reality that there's not that many men to go round, but we can still thrive. We can still set goals. We can still be aiming for the best life that we can live.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I actually don't think, I have no thoughts in my mind that I'm going to have a man in this life.
But yes, in the meantime, let's live our best life, eh? And let's write that bucket list of all of those things in all of those areas. And yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so fun having you on and getting to hear more about your adventures.
Thank you, Eileen.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.